Let us continue the topic on the face of it. Mr. Lamb here answers no. Derry says, aren't you interested? Mr. Lamb, you are a boy who came into the garden plenty do. I'm interested in anybody, anything. There's nothing God made that doesn't interest me. Look over there, over beside the far wall. What can you see? Derry says, rabbits. Mr. Lamb, rabbits. Look, boy, look. What do you see? Derry says, just grass and stuff, weeds, Mr. Lamb. Some call them weeds if you like. Then a weed garden that there's fruit and there are flowers and trees and herbs, all sorts. But over there, weeds, I grow weeds there. Why is one green growing plant called a weed and another flower? Where is the difference? It's all life growing same as you and me. Derry says, we are not the same. Mr. Lamb, I'm old, you are young. You have got a burnt face, I have got a thin leg, not important. You are standing there, I am sitting here. Where is the difference? Derry says, why have you got a thin leg, Mr. Lamb? Real one got blown off years back. Lemmy Lamb, some kids say. Haven't you heard them? You will, Lemmy Lamb. It fits, doesn't trouble me. Derry says, but you can put on trousers and cover it up, and no one sees. They don't have to notice and stare, Mr. Lamb. Some do, some don't. They get tired of it. In the end, there is plenty of other things to stare at. Derry says, like my face, Mr. Lamb. Like crab apples or the weeds or a spider climbing up a silken ladder or my tall sunflowers, weed, unwanted plant. Statements to look at. Mr. Lamb did not agree with him. So, dear student, this is the explanation. Derry thought that he was not interested in his story. To this, Mr. Lamb said that he was interested in each and every creation of God. He pointed out at a wall and asked him what did he see beyond it. Derry replied that there were weeds or unwanted plants. Mr. Lamb explained that there were a number of plants in his garden. There were flowers, trees, and herbs. Some plants were considered good and some were called unwanted plants, means weed. It was not because they were different, all of them were green in color. It was about how people considered them to be herbs or weeds. In reality, they all were same, just like Derry and himself. Derry didn't agree to this. Mr. Lamb told him that there was no difference. He was young and Mr. Lamb was old. He had a burnt face and Mr. Lamb had a thin leg. These things were not so important and so they didn't make any difference. Derry asked him the reason behind his thin leg. He replied that it got damaged in an explosion many years ago. Kids teased him by calling him Lemmy Lamb. Derry said that he could cover the thin leg with his trousers so that no one could see it. Mr. Lamb said that it did not bother him much as one day people would get tired of teasing him and would start discussing something else. Derry showed his face in reply to Lamb's statement. Mr. Lamb suggested that things like crab apples, weeds, spiders, and the tall sunflowers could also be some of the other things that people would probably look at and discuss. Derry says here things, Mr. Lamb, it's all relative. Beauty and the beast. Derry, what's the supposed to mean? Mr. Lamb, you tell me. Derry, you needn't think they haven't all told me that fairy story before. It is not what you look like, it is what you are inside. Handsome is as handsome does. So this is the phrase here. Beauty loved the monster's beast for himself, and when she kissed him, he changed into a handsome prince. Only he would have stayed a monstrous beast. I won't change, Mr. Lamb. In that way, no, you won't. Dairy, and no one will kiss me ever, only my mother, and she kisses me on the other side of my face, and I don't like my mother to kiss me. She does it because she has to. Why should I like that? I don't care if nobody ever kisses me. Mr. Lamb, but do you care if you never kiss them? Dairy, what? Mr. Lamb, girls, pretty girls, long hair and large eyes, people you love. Dairy, who'd let me? Not one, Mr. Lamb. Who can tell? Monstrous, horrible. This is the meaning. Now let us have the explanation of the above passage. Dear students, Derry commented that the other things mentioned by Mr. Lamb were things, that is, they were non living. Mr. Lamb replied that all the things were related to each other, just like beauty is related to the beast, that is, a beautiful creation is related to ugliness. Okay, so we can understand that even the beauty is to be recognized because of only ugliness. If we know the two phases only, then we can be able to recognize. Okay, got it. So Derry was confused. Mr. Lamb asked for Derry's opinion. Derry replied that often he had heard people saying that beauty is not related to one's appearance. Rather, inner beauty is our real beauty. Even a handsome man is the one who does something good rather than one who looks good. He said that once a beautiful girl loved a beast for who he was and kissed him, which turned the beast into a handsome prince. He wouldn't have changed if she hadn't kissed him. But then he said that he won't change. Mr. Lamb said that Derry was right at that. Derry said that no one would kiss him ever because of his face. Even his mother kissed him on the good side of his face. He did not like this at all. He said he didn't care even if nobody kissed him. Mr. Lamb asked him that did Derry ever want to kiss someone? Derry asked him what he was talking about. Mr. Lamb said that uh, probably means perhaps. Derry wanted to kiss pretty girls who had long hair and large eyes or other people whom Derry loved. Derry replied that no one would ever allow him to do so. Mr. Lamb said that this was unpredictable. So, dear student, let us have only these explanations today, and further explanations will be made in the next lecture. Thank you, students.